Picture a world standing at the crossroads of technology, where a single, audacious move has the power to tilt the balance of global innovation. Imagine a landscape where a multi-billion-dollar acquisition does not merely shift market share, but potentially rewrites the very rules of the game in enterprise networking and artificial intelligence. Today, we embark on an in-depth journey into the high-stakes merger between Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, often known simply as HPE, and Juniper Networks. This is a story that could redraw the future of how companies, hospitals, schools, and governments connect, defend, and empower their data in an era where artificial intelligence is no longer a distant promise, but an immediate force. Is this merger a calculated masterstroke destined to spark a new golden age? Or is it a gamble of epic proportions, fraught with unseen pitfalls and billion-dollar risks? Let's dive in, piece by piece, to uncover the truth behind this landmark deal, and what it means for the future of technology, competition, and innovation across the globe. To understand the magnitude of this moment, we need to rewind the clock several decades, back to the digital dawn of enterprise networking. Since the late 20th century, Cisco Systems has towered over the industry like a colossus, dictating not only how data moves across the backbone of commerce and government, but also how it is protected from the ever-evolving gauntlet of cyber threats. Cisco's dominance has been so absolute that, for years, rivals such as Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Juniper Networks have fought over the crumbs, vying for a distant second place through innovations in wireless systems, cloud computing, and digital infrastructure security. Each company carved out a niche. Juniper became known for its pioneering work in internet routing and switching, particularly in service provider and cloud environments, while HPE steadily built its reputation around robust, scalable solutions for enterprises of all sizes. But technological revolutions are rarely polite. Enter artificial intelligence and the hybrid cloud, a tidal wave transforming not only how businesses operate, but how they compete. The explosion of connected devices, from smart sensors on factory floors to remote medical equipment in hospitals, has unleashed a surge of data that must be moved, secured, and analyzed in real time. The old rules, once set in stone by industry giants, are dissolving. The new reality? Secure, AI-driven networks that can adapt, heal, and protect themselves, with minimal human intervention, are no longer optional, but essential. And in this environment, even the most established players must adapt or risk irrelevance. In January of 2024, the world watched as HPE announced a breathtaking plan to acquire Juniper Networks for a jaw-dropping $14 billion. This figure, written out, is $14,000 million, a sum that signals not just ambition, but a declaration of war on the status quo. The vision is clear. By marrying HPE's Aruba networking division, famed for its wireless expertise, with Juniper's cutting-edge artificial intelligence and automation, the combined company aims to double HPE's networking business and, for the first time in decades, offer a genuine alternative to Cisco's iron grip on the market. According to HPE CEO Antonio Neri, the combination of HPE Aruba networking and Juniper Networks will provide a comprehensive portfolio of secure, AI-native networking solutions. Juniper's chief executive, Rami Rahim, was equally enthusiastic, describing the deal as a critical step forward for enterprise, service provider, and cloud customers. Yet, in the world of high finance and global technology, dreams rarely materialize without drama. Almost immediately, the United States Department of Justice stepped forward, raising a red flag that threatened to halt the merger in its tracks. Their concern? That the union of HPE and Juniper could reduce competition, inflate prices, and stifle innovation for countless American businesses. As the Department of Justice put it, HPE and Juniper are the second and third largest providers of enterprise-grade wireless LAN solutions in the United States. The proposed transaction would eliminate fierce head-to-head competition. The prospect of two industry titans merging set off alarm bells not just in Washington, but around the globe, as antitrust regulators, market analysts, and competitors watched closely. A tense legal battle seemed all but certain. The Department of Justice began marshaling its resources, determined to block the deal and preserve a competitive marketplace for American companies, universities, and public institutions. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, the European Commission took a strikingly different stance, offering unconditional approval and framing the deal as a boost for competition and innovation in European markets. This divergence in regulatory philosophy left HPE and Juniper trapped in limbo, their fate hanging on the outcome of a legal and bureaucratic chess match. Then, in a dramatic twist, compromise emerged. After months of negotiations, the Department of Justice and the merging companies reached a conditional agreement that would allow the deal to proceed, but only if HPE agreed to significant concessions. Under the terms of the settlement, HPE must divest its instant-on business, a crucial segment within its Aruba networking division, within 180 days following the acquisition's completion. This business is not just a side project. It represents years of research, intellectual property, and customer relationships, all of which must now be handed over to a buyer approved by the Department of Justice. But the conditions do not stop there. HPE is also required to auction off licenses to Juniper's prized Mist AI source code, a foundational component in the modern world of wireless LAN systems. The terms are strict. Up to 2 licenses may be awarded, provided bids exceed $8 million each. The license is perpetual and non-exclusive, including up to 12 months of transitional support from HPE, and the opportunity for the winning bidders to recruit up to 30 Juniper engineers and 25 sales specialists intimately familiar with the Mist AI platform. The intention is clear: to ensure that rivals will have the tools, expertise, and personnel needed to mount a credible challenge to the newly expanded HPE. According to Bank of America's Wamsi Mohan, this is a positive development, giving HPE the opportunity to drive higher growth and margin uplift. But not everyone is convinced. Industry analyst Eli Grant offers a cautionary note. The merger's success hinges on judicial approval, with a $750 million breakup fee looming if the deal collapses. The stakes are enormous. Should HPE fail to find a suitable buyer for instant-on within the 180-day window, or if the court does not ultimately approve the settlement, the entire deal could unravel, leaving HPE with a staggering penalty and a bruised reputation. So, the questions now swirling through boardrooms and trading floors across the world are both urgent and complex. Can HPE locate a qualified buyer for the instant-on business in time? Will their rivals, possibly even agile startups or ambitious technology conglomerates, snap up the Mist AI license and use it as a launching pad for their own innovations? And, perhaps most importantly, how will HPE's bold bet on artificial intelligence redefine the power struggle with Cisco, a company that has not only dominated the field for decades, but has a long track record of countering competitive threats with precision and aggression? As the dust begins to settle and the regulatory hurdles are largely cleared, the question shifts from "will the deal go through" to "what happens next?" For HPE and Juniper, the future now holds both unprecedented promise and a host of lurking shadows. The integration of Juniper's advanced AI networking, especially its Mist AI platform, into HPE's already formidable Aruba division could finally create a true rival to Cisco's entrenched dominance. Imagine, for a moment, a networking ecosystem where automation is not a luxury, but standard operating procedure. Networks that not only monitor themselves, but actively predict and prevent outages, optimize performance on the fly, and adapt to new cyber threats in real time, all with minimal human intervention. Zeus Caravala, a leading industry expert, puts it succinctly: for the first time in decades, customers can expect real choice and innovation in enterprise networking. But the road to success is anything but assured. Mergers of this magnitude are notorious for their complexity and propensity for internal disruption. Cultural clashes, talent drain, and short-term confusion can quickly erode the anticipated benefits. HPE faces the formidable task of divesting its instant-on business within a tight 6-month window, all while preparing to auction off licenses for Juniper's Mist AI code and support the transfer of key engineers and sales specialists to new employers. For HPE, this means losing not just valuable technology, but the human capital and institutional knowledge that make innovation possible. The risk of product overlap is real, and customer confusion could open the door for competitors to poach clients during the transition. And let's not forget, if the merger fails at the final hurdle, HPE faces a breakup fee of $750 million, a loss that would resonate through its balance sheet and investor confidence alike. Cisco, meanwhile, is not likely to sit idly by. With decades of dominance under its belt, Cisco has consistently demonstrated an ability to defend its market share through aggressive pricing, rapid innovation, and targeted incentives. Already, industry insiders speculate that Cisco is preparing a suite of countermeasures, ranging from customer loyalty programs to accelerated product launches, to capitalize on any integration hiccups or customer uncertainty stemming from the HPE Juniper merger. For end users, technology partners, and investors, however, the stakes go far beyond market share or quarterly earnings. This merger represents a battle for the very future of networked computing, how information is transported, protected, and used to fuel the engines of global commerce, education, and healthcare. If HPE manages to execute its plan, businesses of all sizes could see tangible benefits: faster innovation cycles, stronger cybersecurity, and smarter use of data from the network edge to the deepest reaches of the cloud. The combined company is promising an AI-native portfolio, meaning networks that not only react to problems but anticipate and resolve them before they become crises. Consider, for example, the implications for a modern hospital system. In today's world, patient data flows across dozens of devices, from bedside monitors to remote imaging equipment. Any delay or outage can have life or death consequences. The promise of self-healing, AI-driven networks could dramatically reduce downtime, improve patient safety, and empower medical teams to focus on care rather than troubleshooting IT issues. Similarly, in manufacturing, edge-to-cloud data flows are critical for optimizing production lines and minimizing costly interruptions. The ability to predict outages or security breaches before they happen could save millions, or even billions, over time. But innovation does not occur in a vacuum, and the competitive landscape is set to shift in unpredictable ways. The Department of Justice's novel demand that HPE offer up not just technology but also the talent and expertise behind it could empower new challengers to emerge virtually overnight. Imagine a nimble startup, armed with a license to Mist AI source code and a team of world-class engineers and sales personnel, developing a disruptive networking solution that upends the existing hierarchy. In this scenario, HPE and Cisco could find themselves sharing the playing field with entirely new entrants, sparking a cascade of innovation and competition not seen in decades. Let's also consider the financial dimension of this deal. The acquisition is being financed in part by a $9.5 billion bond offering, a significant commitment that underscores both the scale of HPE's ambition and the confidence of its backers. If successful, the merger is projected to boost HPE's earnings per share, creating value not only for customers, but also for shareholders and partners. Yet the risks are equally daunting. Should integration falter, or if regulatory compliance proves more costly than anticipated, the financial fallout could be severe. Looking ahead, the integration of Juniper's Mist AI into HPE's Aruba networking portfolio is widely expected to produce a more robust, efficient, and automated networking solution, one that could improve network performance, reduce operational overhead, and bolster security across industries. The combined entity will be positioned as a serious contender in the data center networking arena, challenging Cisco's supremacy. However, success will require more than just technical prowess. Transparent communication, clear product roadmaps, and a relentless focus on customer needs will be essential to avoid the pitfalls that have doomed so many mergers in the past, namely product redundancies, organizational silos, and the erosion of hard-won market share. From a practical standpoint, what does all this mean for you, the IT manager, the network architect, the technology strategist, or the investor watching from the sidelines? If you are responsible for technology decisions in your organization, now is the time to pay close attention to HPE and Juniper's integration roadmap. Early adopters may be able to leverage next-generation automation and efficiency, potentially slashing operating costs and reducing the frequency of network outages. Decision-makers should also review their vendor relationships. The intensified competition between HPE, Juniper, and Cisco could translate into better pricing, enhanced service offerings, and a wave of new features that were previously out of reach. For investors and anyone monitoring the global tech sector, this merger is a vivid illustration of how regulatory bodies are shaping the trajectory of digital disruption. The Department of Justice's insistence on source code licensing and talent transfer is a bold new playbook, one that could soon appear in other strategic industries, from cloud computing to cybersecurity and beyond. There are also lessons to be drawn from history. The technology sector is littered with the remains of mergers that promised the moon yet failed to deliver, either due to cultural misalignment, customer confusion, or simply the inability to keep up with the relentless pace of innovation. But there are also examples of successful integrations that redefined the industry, such as the merger of Dell and EMC, which created a powerhouse in storage and cloud infrastructure. The fate of HPE and Juniper will depend on their ability to learn from both sets of precedents, adopting best practices, avoiding common pitfalls, and above all, keeping the needs of their customers front and center. As we draw this deep dive to a close, it's time to revisit the big question that launched our journey. Can HPE truly become the next AI-powered networking powerhouse, or are the risks simply too high? The answer, as is so often the case in technology, is not black or white. Thanks to Juniper's artificial intelligence expertise and the unique conditions imposed by the Department of Justice, HPE has a rare opportunity to leapfrog legacy networking models and carve out a new leadership position. But the path forward is narrow, fraught with challenges both internal and external. Integration must be seamless, key talent must remain engaged and motivated, and the company must outpace rivals not just in technology, but in building lasting customer trust. Here's a secret that few are talking about. The Mist AI code that HPE is required to license to competitors is not just a compliance checkbox. In the hands of a nimble startup or a well-funded rival, it could become the seed for a new wave of disruption, potentially spawning innovative solutions that reshape the entire enterprise networking landscape. In this sense, the HPE-Juniper merger may not simply be a story of two giants joining forces, but the catalyst for a broader transformation that unleashes a new era of competition and creativity. So, what do you think? Will HPE seize this unique moment in history and emerge as the next great force in AI-powered networking? Or is the risk simply too high, the obstacles too great? We want to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more in-depth analysis of the stories shaping the digital world, and stay tuned for our next big